the last thing I need to talk about is where do you go from here? So this intake process starts with this orientation call, but there's a couple of other steps that we need you to walk through and before you're fully accepted into our care for your pregnancy. If you've loved what you've heard here today and you're really supportive and excited about this model of care, you will do the next few things to really move through the intake process. On our website, we have a new client page. That new client page outlines for you all that you need to do to be able to move forward with the intake process. In order to move forward, you need to fill out 2 links. And this is where I tell you how to access those links. If you have not attended this orientation, you cannot access those links. There's a password to get access to those links. The password is, I'm going to pause so you can get your pen and paper and write it down. The password is birth with a capital B, equity with a capital E, for the number ME exclamation point. I'm going to say that one more time. The password to access your 2 intake links is birth, equity, the number 4, me exclamation point. Birth equity for me exclamation point. You must fill out the 2 links on our website using that password in order to move into the intake process. Those 2 links are all about 2 things: your clinical review and your financial review. Your clinical review is all about making sure that you're an appropriate candidate from a health standpoint to have a low risk out of hospital birth center birth. Some of you may not be able to have a birth center birth, but you can have birth center care and have a planned hospital birth. We need to assess which one is the best for you at the very beginning, okay? And accept you into care from a clinical standpoint. The second vein of review is our financial review. We want to make sure that we give you all that informed consent information, all that shared decision-making information, and education about the financial side of things just as much as we do about the clinical. So what we do on the front end is we do a very thorough review with our third-party biller, Grow Midwives, and they make sure that we understand exactly what your insurance is going to cover, what's your deductible, what's your co-insurance, all of that information. They synthesize that into a little report that gives you an idea of what you will owe us, if anything, after you get your care with us and after your baby is born. If you do owe us anything, they will set up an estimate of what your payment plan would be over months. So we allow you to pay it month after month, little by little over time. We do not send you a bill at the end of your care with us and expect you to pay this huge lump sum at the end of your care. We give you the opportunity to understand what the payment would be and understand how you can pay it over time. So that financial review and that clinical review can happen at the very same time. We do not need to wait for one to be completed before we start the other. So once you fill out one link, go ahead and fill out the other. For the clinical review, you have one major responsibility other than filling out the link, and that is to get your medical records if you're transferring into care with us. If you start in care with us from the very beginning of your pregnancy, you have seen no other providers for this pregnancy, then you do not need to get medical records. You just fill out the link. If you have seen another provider for this pregnancy, or if you've had some concerning complication from a previous pregnancy, they may want your records for that. But definitely, if you've seen another provider for this pregnancy, they do need your records. We need encounter notes, we need lab results, and we need ultrasound results, including the full report for each ultrasound. So we need you to call your practice, get those medical records. You can sign a release form for us through our portal, and we need to make sure to get those records sooner rather than later. I'm going to be honest with you. The intake process technically doesn't start until we get those records. Okay? It technically doesn't start until we get those records. So what that means is once we get the records, it's 2 to 3 weeks and you're in the door. But if we have to wait for records for 3 to 4 weeks, that could be a 4 to 6 weeks full process. So work with us to do as much as you can to get those records so we can make sure to get you in the door sooner rather than later. For the vein of review related to your finances, we need you to do one thing other than that intake form, and that is fill out the verification of benefits information by calling your insurance provider. The reason I always recommend that you do this is so that you have an understanding of your insurance benefits as you're filling out that form. There's a form for you to reference that gives you information on what to ask them. You want to ask them about your maternity benefits, not for an OB in a hospital. You want to make sure to tell them this is for a certified nurse midwife in a birth center. Sometimes your maternity benefits for a hospital with an OB and your maternity benefits for a birth center with a certified nurse midwife can be two different things. So we want to make sure we get that information so that we can collect that information and make sure that we get you a good, clear estimate of what your out-of-pocket costs will be, if any. Okay? That individual customized review has a $20 fee that the Grow Midwives team will charge you for that review and that estimate and that payment plan. Who are we in network with? Our Medicaid CMO currently is Amerigroup, but we're in the process of expanding that. So always check in with us if you are looking to find out about who we are in network with. That is always a growing list. So that is our current list, but it is a growing list. So check our website, call us if you're uncertain about if we're in network with your particular insurance carrier. If you do not have Amerigroup right now, you would need to switch over to Amerigroup unless we tell you otherwise. That process means you just call Georgia Families and you ask them to switch insurance CMO, your Medicaid CMO, from Peach State Care Source WellCare over to Amerigroup, okay? What if you have Humana? Right now, we are typically, depending on your plan, most plans able to bill for your out-of-network benefits. And then if you would like to have a secondary plan through Medicaid or something like that, you can do that as well. We do need all insurance information for all insurance carriers that you have. That is your responsibility to give us all of them, both your primary and your secondary. Medicaid can only be a secondary if you have 2 or more insurance policies, okay? I just want to make that clear. You must always let us know about your primary insurance policy and your secondary insurance policy, okay? We can work with health shares and self-pay clients as well. We cannot work with Kaiser, Ambetter, or TRICARE at this time. We do give a 10% discount for our veterans and our active service members who have TRICARE. Our self-pay rate right now is right around $11,500 to around $12,000. That is for everything, from your prenatal care to your birth and labor, postpartum care, everything. In the Metro Atlanta area right now, if you were to go to the hospital and have a natural physiologic birth, it would be $20,000, $30,000 or more for that birth, okay? Here in Atlanta Birth Center, much less, and we're able to provide that for you at a much lower rate for a different setting and a different experience. And we're really excited that we can do that. If that amount still does not seem feasible for you and your family, and you do not qualify for Medicaid, we can provide a financial assistance application to you. Please just let us know if you need that. And that is for those who do not qualify for Medicaid, but do feel like that out-of-pocket cost does not reflect what you're able to do within your household budget. We want to make sure that as much as we can do for our families to be able to have this model of care at the price that works for your family so that it's accessible to anyone who wants it. I will also say that if you have not received any care for your pregnancy yet, and you do want to do a confirmation of pregnancy appointment and don't want to wait to finish this intake process to do so, you can receive a confirmation of pregnancy appointment with us. You can get that scheduled almost immediately within a week or two while you're in the intake process. We're happy to do that for you. Do know that it does not guarantee that you will be accepted for prenatal care. and you will be billed separately for this appointment, whereas all of your prenatal care appointments and your labor and birth are billed as a bundle at the end of your pregnancy, with your date of birth as the date of service. So do not hesitate to reach out if you want a confirmation of pregnancy appointment as well. Once you've gone through all of that intake process, that financial review and that clinical review, and you've been accepted into care, you will then pay our one-time non-refundable fee, registration fee for $400 for anyone who doesn't have Medicaid, and it's only $200 if you do have Medicaid. So that's our registration fee. We do everything on a payment plan if you need it. That registration fee we do up front, but the rest can be put on a payment plan. And we want to make sure that we make it really accessible for you and your family. If you need anything, you reach out to us. If you have any questions, you reach out to us and let us know. The only other thing that I like to mention is that we have some other fees associated that are outside the birth center. So our labs, all of our labs are done here in-house through LabCorp. They are going to bill your insurance if you have labs done here through LabCorp. Nitrous oxide, that is the only thing that we can't bill through insurance because American Coding does not have a billing code for nitrous. So it is a self-pay rate for nitrous oxide. It's $250 if you like it and you use it for 30 minutes or more. If you try it and you don't like it, it's only a $50 fee. For in-office procedures or for repairs after birth, it's a $100 fee for nitrous oxide there. If you end up needing to transfer to the hospital via an ambulance, please know that their ambulance is going to bill your insurance. So just be aware that with every little thing that you do at another practice, they are going to bill your insurance for that. What I've quoted you here today is for our care in-house. Okay. I just want to make sure that you know that you can always reach out to us if you need anything. If you have any additional questions about our model of care, if you didn't understand anything that I shared today, do not hesitate to reach out. Our phone number is 404-474-2770. Our fax number is 470-731-7797. Again, our phone number is 404-474-2770. Our fax number is 470-731-7797. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you need to reach us via email, you can do so at admin@atlantabirthcenter.org. That's ADMIN@atlantabirthcenter.org. Our address is 1 Baltimore Place Northwest, Suite 105, Atlanta, Georgia 30308. Again, 1 Baltimore Place Northwest, Suite 105, Atlanta, Georgia 30308. I thank you so much for joining us for this orientation. We look so forward to seeing so many of your faces in our office in the weeks, days, and months to come. You all are the future of Atlanta Birth Center. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to hearing from you. Have a great one. Bye, everybody.